All right, so let's picture a rainbow, right? And there's a black inside of it. Somehow, you know something is definitely wrong because there's no black inside of a rainbow. You know this because you know the right colors, you know the way they blend into each other, the boundaries, all of that. You've always known this since you were a kid. If I took that knowledge away from you, then there might as well be black inside the rainbow because why not? I mean, it's a color. But this isn't a video about rainbows or colors or any of that. It's a video about you and why I believe people who make the best decisions usually know a little bit more about everything. You see, all you are is an agent of decision, really. If you strip it all back, that is what life actually is. It's like this long chain of all the choices you've ever made. It's what you build, who you trust, who you commit to, what you even ignore. Like most things, all decisions are unequal, and some are good, some are bad, and yeah, some are very ugly. Now, to enable ourselves make better decisions, right, we often go chasing an education, the school system, all of that. We've made professionals, we have professionals. These are people who know the facts, and the facts get passed down from person to person. The facts get argued on, it gets verified, it gets thrown out. This is very proper, right? That is how we progress as a society. A society that is knowledgeable, a society that operates on the truth, whatever the truth is at the time. Now, the question nobody ever stops to ask is, what kind of learning actually makes us better at making personal decisions, right? Decisions that matter to us as people or that matters to our output as people. And that's what we're talking about. So this is my argument. I believe learning a little across a wide range of things makes you reasonably better decision making, even on things you've never studied before. I know this sounds backwards because you're taught to pick a lane, to go narrow, to go deeper, and depth does matter, and we'll come back to that. But think about yourself. The times you've made the best decisions in your life, it was probably you just seeing a pattern you've seen before, and you're only able to see a pattern other people do not if you know something other people do not know. Every field you touch hands you a new lens. You learn a little economics and you start seeing incentives everywhere. You learn a little design and you start seeing how things can be manipulated. You learn biology, history, film. Each one is a different way of seeing things. And the more lenses you are able to pick up and put down whenever you need them, the more of a picture you can actually get. You see, especially see things in extraordinary detail. I mean, that's a fact. But generalists, they are able to see how things connect, and reality is unknowingly about connections. It's not just black or white. I built this software called Force Studio. It's a tool for making motion graphics. It's the very thing I made this video with. Writing the code, was the easy part. The hard part was deciding what actually mattered when building it, what features actually made sense, how coherent the product was actually going to be. Now, I could make those calls relatively well, not because I'm a better engineer, but because I'm not just an engineer. I'm also a motion designer, a video editor, someone who spent years being obsessed with films and television and what actually makes a good visual. So when I sat down to design the product, I wasn't just pulling features out of thin air. I could literally feel how the feature would feel for an editor. I could tell which features were non-negotiable and which ones were totally pointless. You see, the gap between relevance, priority, coherence, even taste, that can only be filled by knowing a little about a lot. Now, the obvious objection, right? Jack of all trades, master at none. If you spread yourself too thin, then you'll be mediocre at everything. But here's the thing. If generalism meant aimless doing just about anything, just doing, then that would be correct. But it doesn't. You see, the specialists and the generalists aren't even competing. To me, they're not even on the same field. The specialists work inside of a frame. You give them a defined problem and they solve it faster and better than anyone alive. And you need that. You want them badly when it's time to execute. But someone has to choose a frame, right? How the pieces actually fit. If two things that seem unrelated are secretly the same thing. Now you see, that layer, that relevance, That connection is where real life decisions actually get made. And these are things you cannot just box in. You can think of the specialist as the person who answers the how, and you can think of the generalist as the person built for which and why. Just think about how our modern society is and how interconnected everything is, that the most valuable territory, right, is not in the center of any field. It's the connections between them. And someone who's a specialist, by definition, cannot see the connections because they are standing just way too deep inside one side of it. You see, this isn't about one or the other. You still want depth, definitely. The point is, judgment is its own discipline, and range is what feeds it. The whole idea, if it was to be put in one image, would literally just be this. The same way you know what the wrong colors are in the rainbow by knowing exactly what the right ones are, is the same way you're able to tell your right ideas from your bad ones by knowing exactly the right and the bad. So range really is the only way you're able to tell. I strongly believe that your best ideas are never going to come from doing just one thing. You should practice mindful journalism. Treat it like an instrument you are learning to play, right, on purpose in the work you care about. Know enough colors and you start to see what colors don't belong. And that, at the end of the day, is just most of what good judgment ever was.